Hello everyone, welcome to the latest episode of the 2D Sportsbar. We've been away for a few months, but we're back. We're back with a new lineup. We've got George, who's joining us for his debut episode.
Yep.
And we got my cousin Sean, he's back.
All right.
And we're gonna get into it immediately about the Premier League and how it's been going recently. Obviously, we just saw United lose to Arsenal 1-0. But obviously Arsenal and Man City are going to take it probably to the final day. What do you boys, obviously George, you're Chelsea. You've obviously played well recently. What do you think of your fortunes recently?
Injuries all coming out of the scene now. So it's great to see our boys back. Really, it just shows you the difference when Reece James comes on. We get a bloody goal straight away after.
Yeah, has he been injured essentially most of the season?
Most of the last 2-3 seasons, mate. It's been absolutely a nightmare. But one of the best right backs in the league, in my opinion, when he is fully fit.
And I've seen Pochettino said recently, he's not been feeling the love or something like that. He quoted. What do you feel about Pochettino at Chelsea? How do you think he's been doing this year?
I just want to trust the process. I can't lie. I've always just said trust the process. The only thing I didn't like was when we lost in the final against Liverpool and he said that we played for pens. I was like, we don't do that here. We're not Spursy. So it's just like, nah, I can't have that at all. It's just, but I see the identity as we're developing. Poch is obviously not a one season wonder. He's there to develop the team, as I think gradually, and we're starting to see the results already with some of the kinks that he's changed around, like with Cucurella playing as an inverted midfielder, like fullback / into midfield, just a similar way that Arteta did it with Zinchenko before. So it kind of allows us to have the freedom. And Cole Palmer, he's probably by far one of the best players in the league at the moment.
Do you think you would? I don't think you'll be as good as you are without Cole Palmer. That signing you done quite late in the window.
Oh, you know what? Blessing in disguise, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't.
Was it a panic buy, or do you think you saw him in the Super Cup perform well and Bode was like, yeah, I'll piece of that. Let's put a little bit in.
I hope that's the case. I feel like that it was more of a rush to buy him because obviously I felt like we were going to go for Maddison before, but then we kind of pulled out because of what he wanted, and we probably just thought, well, I don't know why we pulled out of it in the first place because we went for players like Mudryk and Jesus Christ, I can't stand him.
Yeah, some interesting signings by Chelsea.
There have been, but hopefully long-term wise, it could work out for us, in my opinion.
I think you might get caught out, maybe essentially on some players with these 8-year contracts you're dishing out. Because if the player doesn't perform well, say like Mudryk, and in 2 years' time you want to sell him, and he's like, well, nah, I'm right, I've got an 8-year contract.
Well, yeah, he could either say that, or he could actually. You think about it though, there's a lot of the players that we've got are hungry for being in a national team and that. So if they feel like it's best that they do leave, yeah. So I don't know. I can't really say any other players that I would rather leave other than Mudryk, in my opinion. So,
yeah. Like Enzo.
No, I like Enzo.
Sterling.
But Enzo's hungry to play for Argentina. So if he ain't going to be playing for Argentina, if he ain't going to be playing for us, how is he going to? He shouldn't be getting called up for Argentina theoretically.
Nicola Jackson, happy with him first season.
You know what? I had a better first season than Drogba, and he scored in both games against Tottenham. So I'm quite happy with that at the moment.
Not Spurs hate. Ollie's the same.
Yeah, there's nothing more than the Spurs hate than when it comes to Chelsea. Trust me.
I think with Cole Palmer, what's quite interesting is the game against Forest is that he didn't. I think he had one shot that was off target throughout the game, but he assisted and his passing was key, and he's able to drop deeper. He doesn't have to be that main man going forward every time. That shows a bit of game intelligence, something that probably United players are lacking. Not meaning to bring it back to United, but he just shows a level of intelligence with his play, and got to give some credit to Chelsea because through that Forest game, Forest had 20 shots with 4 on target. Chelsea had 12 shots with 5 on target. So nearly 50% of their shots are on target. They're a far more clinical outfit with less chances. So sometimes we go by headlines or the final score at the end without actually seeing like the nuance. But Poch he's developing Chelsea into probably quite a good team. I look forward to seeing what they look like next year.
Oh, I agree. I'm worried that Poch will leave, in my opinion. I'm worried because it's in the back of my head that our fans are a bit spoiled and try and push a manager away when they're not happy with him.
That's interesting. I've not heard anyone say that yet, but yeah, I can see what you.
I'm one of look, I'll be real with this. Is that I was fuming when Tuchel got sacked.
Mm.
I weren't overly keen on Potter coming in, and I didn't see the point of sacking Potter and then bringing Lampard in, who obviously weren't cutting it. Well, he had a good first season, but he weren't cutting it this second season. So we took a massive step back on that development on that team. But
What
with
was your?
Poch,
I was say, what was your thoughts on Lampard getting the sack originally before Tuchel?
Yeah, no. Like after the first season we had,
Yeah,
I actually was happy with him, and I thought that the players were. Again, I will blame the players more than the manager, majority of the time. If I'd like I said, like when I can honestly say that my worst moment of a manager getting sacked for Chelsea was Ancelotti. But like him, and when you had the great Ray Wilkins as an assistant manager, that team was a fear to be reckoned with. But that was only because he fell out of the board. But when I see players that are getting out in other like other players have done it before, like you look at Man United with Jose, you had Pogba and all that literally outed Jose because of that. And then same for us in the second stint when you had probably Fabregas and all that probably. I don't know if they were, but it seemed like a lot of players dropped their form during that stint. And again, Tuchel got sacked because he was falling out of the board. But not only that, I feel like a lot of players were literally below par for him. And I could say one player straight away that I thought was playing against him was Kovacic.
Right. Okay. What did you think about when the Chelsea lads were arguing over the penalty?
That was a stone head.
But I mean,
yeah, but no, not the decision, but like the actual seeing the guys argue to take the penalty.
Oh, that. Palmer is the penalty taker. Respected it. It's the same before where Sterling kept on trying to take the ball and Enzo stopped him. Again, if Palmer's on a streak, leave him the hell alone. Don't put him on.
Now, do you remember like when you're a kid and like you might hear someone say, "Wait till your dad gets home," or "You wait until we get out of this restaurant," that sort of phrase, and then you'd get told off, bollocks. Or that's how I feel like if they had a grown up in the Chelsea team, someone to manage them, it would have been like, no, he's taking it. And in that dressing room, I hope that someone was getting absolutely bollocked because I thought it was embarrassing.
Well, no, I guarantee. I know for a fact that Poch even said the next player that does it again ain't playing.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that Poch made that stand. But before, Sterling kept on trying to do it to Palmer, like trying to pull rank and that. But
that's terrible because he's one of the older lads as well.
Yeah, no, and he's one. And for me, the guy can't even take a pen as it is. Like he missed a pen before.
Yeah.
I can't. Like.
For me on that one, I know Palmer had just scored a hat trick. When you just give it to another teammate to get a goal, maybe like build some confidence or something. I've seen Bruno do it to Rashford. I don't know why.
So there's a way that you can do that, but then I also think that there's always a player's responsibility, a duty on the pitch to do something.
Yeah.
And Palmer's the penalty taker. It's like Lampard was always Chelsea's penalty taker. No one else was.
Anyway, should we go back to the weekend?
Go on.
Yeah. We've just gone through like, so what, you had Notts and Chelsea, that was a tight game. Notts had like 2.4 XG, Chelsea had 2.41. What, 2-3, was it a fair result at the end?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think we like, don't get me wrong, Hudson-Odoi scoring that goal, I felt like, oh, here we go again. But then when we made the changes, it kind of showed the quality of our players that were coming off the pitch, the impact that they brought in. So especially like with Gusto and Reece James both being on the right hand side, and even Palmer moving around, we kind of exploited them on that side. Because I'll tell you what, one credit to that Ola Aina, who used to play for us, he was solid all that game. he was absolutely solid, and I was quite like fair play to him. But then as soon as he got moved over to the right hand side, which is his dominant position, we had that freedom on the right to exploit.
Yeah, so it's a good result for Chelsea because they've also gone up, leapfrogged United into 7th now, I think. So
Yeah,
Which is
George
lovely.
keeps messaging me about that, but it's
I-
like,
I-
who cares? Who
Yeah,
cares
nah,
about
nah.
7th place? You know what I mean?
Don't worry. I've got a few more gifts once it ends of the season. I'm hoping that you lot do a performance against Newcastle, though, to say the least.
well, yeah, Newcastle's next team I was going to mention. They drew 1-1 with Brighton. Newcastle 18 shots, 7 on target. Brighton 15 shots, 4 on target. Newcastle, I was expecting slightly more this season.
That's the same with Brighton and De Zerbi, I think. He's
Do you
sort of, there's all that
Go on.
stuff about him going to Liverpool and stuff like that.
Well,
What a
he's
top
not going.
manager.
He's not going to Liverpool now, is he? So
Brighton have got
And
sort of gone downhill this year.
they are. I feel like they've been burnt out, but they've also had a lot of injuries. That's the problem for them.
They've also haven't made the signings like they used to make. Like when Dan Ashworth was there and they were signing players that had developed and then selling on. Maybe that's an indicator of how good of a director he is. De Zerbi was getting tipped to replace Eric Ten Hag,
Yep.
Jurgen Klopp, and I feel quite fickle as football fans because they've got a -4 goal difference.
Yeah, same as us.
They have, yeah, and I feel like only problem for De Zerbi is definitely injuries as well. It's like everyone. There's too many games getting played, and players are getting burnt out and injured too much easy. But like when you feel like a lot of their top players from last season, like Mitoma, he's been injured a lot. Like a fair amount, and then you got Estepinian, who's he was injured, and then you got Evan Ferguson, who seems like he's a bloody brilliant striker.
Yeah, there are 3 good players you've just mentioned.
So all 3 of them were injured yesterday, and even Joao Pedro.
Mm-hmm.
So
Newcastle obviously had the European Champions League, didn't they? So maybe that sort of affected their season.
I think that has as well, but also it doesn't help when Sandro Tonali gets suspended and further suspension again now. So
Great point. Yeah, that is a good point.
Like he was a massive player. Like they spent all that money on one player, and he's only came on for 5 minutes and had probably won a bet or 2 with him. So
because I'd like to see where Newcastle were at the start at the Christmas break, because now they're like sort of going up the division now. Now they haven't got European football and something to sort of side focus like with the players. Now they can solely focus on the Premier League, and they've sort of got a good run of form. I think
they have, but they've also got financial fair play to worry about as well now because of the money that they're spending.
Yeah, but they got some good players. Isak's a good player.
Oh, I love Isaac. I would love him to be at Chelsea. I think he's class. Like, he reminds me of
You
Henry
can't sell everyone, mate. Come on.
Hey, you can only dream. I'm happy with Jackson as well at the same time.
So, yeah, that was an interesting result then, 1-1. You got Spurs and Burnley 2-1.
Yeah.
Spurs
Burnley
had
gone down, haven't they?
Well, Spurs had 21 shots on 21 shots and 9 on target. Burnley only had 7 shots, but 3 of them were on target. So it's like Spurs having that much of the ball and being able to shoot as much as they were. It's interesting that they can't finish. I wonder what Harry Kane would do in a game like that. Would he be more clinical? Was selling him a bad idea?
Well, again, it just shows you the lack of clinical players that they've got. Like Song used to be amazing, but he's falling, like he's declining now since Kane's gone.
Yeah.
So you've got a Kane that's gone. I wouldn't be surprised if Song probably goes soon. I think it's best that they try and make money out of Song and probably look for someone else that's more prolific.
I think they just got a fit squad. I think at December, Christmas time, they were near the top of the league, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
And then
they
had
had
a few injuries.
They had that what's it called, the honeymoon period of Ange Postecoglou.
I like Ange. I think he comes out with some good statements.
Yeah, and you know what? He sticks to the way that he plays, and I like it. But the one player that only for me that stands out is Mickey van der Ven, who he even scored the winning goal.
Yeah, great player.
Was it that he scored the winning goal yesterday?
Yeah, he did. And he's the quickest. Is he quickest player in the Prem as well?
He's
recorded.
He's ridiculously rapid.
That's pretty cool.
You got Everton, didn't you? Everton, Sheffield United 1-0. Sean Dyche.
Yeah.
Was he in his tracksuit again?
Was,
I
yeah.
don't know. I didn't watch.
Wait,
Was
did
it?
they win?
They did
They won
1-0,
1-0.
yeah.
Oh, so they must have been wearing it then.
Yeah, and they had 15 shots on target. I've just seen a bit of a stat. Like Tottenham last year with Harry Kane finished the season with 70 goals. This year they're on 71. So maybe they're not missing him that much. I don't know.
He was their sole player that turned up last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, I just thought I'd add that in quickly. Any other results we gone through yet? Wolves and Crystal Palace 3-1. A lot of Wolves fans up here thought it would be a big score to Palace. West
Palace on a
Ham
good run, aren't they?
turning it on for David Moyes leaving 3-1 against Luton.
Bournemouth 1, Brentford 2.
Yeah, Thomas Franks. He's found a.
I'll tell you what, it's Wissa. I've got to give credit. Rissa's had a great season, and even Solanke has even scoring again today.
There's some
Yesterday.
cracking players in teams like Brentford and Bournemouth that I feel like they get overlooked quite a bit. Like, is it Mbuemo from Brentford?
Oh,
Yeah,
Mbromo,
Mbeumo.
yeah, the Cameroonian, brilliant.
Like, if I got the job at United as a chief scout or something like that, I'd be looking at all these other teams thinking, surely we can bring him in or bring that player in instead of going big and then end up having to get a 50-year-old from Real Madrid. Always seems to be the way.
I wonder who you're digging that at.
And finally got Fulham and City 4-0, pretty rudimental for City that was.
That kite training also didn't come in handy there.
Oh, that was a bit of yeah. I thought that was some next gen training that could help him a bit against them.
I was saying to Ollie though, Man City against the top teams haven't essentially won a lot. I think they got a few wins at home or something, a couple of draws, but mostly, yeah, the other teams have dropped points against the lesser teams.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. Do the lesser teams just think, we're playing Man City, we've got no chance. Let's just piss about flying kites.
Well,
I think it's more that because they know that they're safe anyway. They're not going to strain themselves for the upcoming games, especially some of the players might have Euros to play in as well. So you know that some players are going to take it easy now till Euros are starting, or even in America and that, because you've got obviously Anthony Robertson, who's a star left back for USA.
Yeah.
You got quite a few other players as well that are probably in international teams as well. So, in my opinion, they know they're safe. They're just going to take it easy. It's the same with I think it'd be Man City v Man City on Tuesday as well. Really, because let's just say this: I think Tottenham won't try in that game either for the sake of the fans.
Yeah, now lads, this is an interesting one. I believe when United won the league after Blackburn, I'm not sure, don't quote me on this, but I think it was due to a Liverpool victory on the last day of the season.
It was a draw, I think. Oh no, yeah, maybe it was, and then we drew at West Ham.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, do you honestly think that a football club or football players would try less hard to win a game so a rival doesn't win the league, or is that just what the fans think is going to happen?
I think that is more the fans, because I can't imagine that Big Ange, as their fans call him, allowing that to happen.
Yeah,
he might want to try and prove. He might try and prove a point that he can. Because is it at Tottenham?
It is at Tottenham.
City's the record at Tottenham ain't that great either, to be fair. But again, like, I know that Tottenham should be worried if they lose this game and then Chelsea win the next game. We could actually finish. Hypothetically, we could actually finish level points and beat above them. So
I don't playing for scraps, mate.
But like, if they treat it like a Soccer Aid game, they're going to start pulling hamstrings and whatnot, isn't they? You can't go into a game half-hearted. You got to, I just can't see it happening. I can't see.
I think City's to lose anyway. I think City have won the league.
And they've just got the depth. They've literally got two squads that they can play that are quality to the standard of the best team in the league. There's no point even doing a podcast anymore, Dylan. City's won it. Let's call it a day. Let's find a different hobby in the summer. They've made football boring.
Don't worry, we got the Euros coming up anyway.
Oh God, yeah, that's gonna be fun.
We'll watch England bottle it again.
Potentially our new manager as well.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, well, maybe we should get you started. I think that's the next segment, isn't it?
Don't
Any
worry,
tips to go?
your first two signings will be Henderson and whoever else is. Mason Mount will be captain as well.
Is James Milner still playing?
Yeah,
you
he
know
is,
Southgate's itching to bring him everywhere he goes.
That's
He ain't
Henderson.
coming to United, is
It's
he?
definitely Henderson.
Oh God. So yeah, Eric Ten Hag, stay or go. What do you think?
I'm not in charge of football operations. I got no idea, mate. Because I was looking at the United team and the squad, they come out with that statement about who to get rid of. We're so thin in our squad, it's ridiculous. I don't get it with how much we've spent, how it's so thin.
Yeah, go on. I think George should go first, being the non-United fan.
He'd probably say stay, he loves it.
As much as I love it, I think he is a manager that has a good philosophy, but I feel like his signings are just not good enough for the Premier League. So, like, I'll tell you what, your worst mistake ever is letting David De Gea go.
Do you think?
100%. I feel like
Right.
him going. I feel like I feel like your director. I feel like to blame any. Like a lot of the time, a lot of players will go, "Oh, that manager brought that player in." It's not the case. A lot of the time, it's the owners bringing in players in, like the director of football or the technical director or whatever position it is. Like, I'm sorry, but you paid all that money for Casemiro, who's pretty much. I'm not saying he's shit or anything like that. I'm just saying he's literally he's literally was in his prime, and now he's just getting older and older, and he's playing in a much harder league.
Yeah.
So he's getting caught out now. You might as well just let him go to Saudi Arabia.
That's if they want him. No, it's not confirmed that anyone's come in to bid for him.
Not yet, but then I also would say Amrabat is an absolute waste of a loan.
Yeah, especially when players like Sabitzer were available at the time.
I'll tell you what, Sabitzer, if you had him,
We had him last year.
Yeah, and you know what? I feel like it's even more controversial here that someone like Jadon Sancho, maybe that just shows you as well that Ten Hag had a problem with a lot of the top players in the team as well, because obviously look at Ronaldo.
Mm-hmm.
So again, that could have been, the thing is, fair play to United because they stuck with Ten Hag.
Yeah,
not the player. And
yeah.
and that's the problem. I feel like Ten Hag, I feel like some of the players you got brought in is just like I was glad. You know what? I was salty when Mason Mount left, but after seeing this season, I am so relieved that we upgraded to Cole Palmer.
A little unfollow on it on Instagram. Next day, when you was heartbroken, George.
Oh, you know what? I had more hate towards it, and the fact that he had a preempted goodbye speech from probably when he had his hair dyed a month or two back. So he already had it lined up to go, and it was all probably because he wanted more money.
Well, I think with Ten Hag, the issue. I always thought this when he was signing these players. He signs players, mostly the ones he's worked with previously.
Does he trust them?
I understand he trusts them.
Well, Anthony, the Beyblade, Jesus Christ, he's awful.
You got Onana, he's previously worked with. Martinez, he brought in. Malacia was in the same league, so he sort of had a look at him. Then you got Amrabat, previously worked with. Ericsson, previously worked with. And then Mason Mount, he saw on loan at in the Dutch league as well. So obviously he was impressed with him.
Go on, carry on, Dills.
No, I just think that when he started doing that, it definitely lowers your talent pool in what you're trying to get in. I know he trusts the players, but sometimes these players aren't up to scratch in the Premier League.
I feel like out of all them players you mentioned, Lisandro Martinez has been by far your best signing out of all them by a landslide.
He's always injured.
Yeah,
he's always. But that's the thing, because he does throw himself about. I think he's a top player. I actually like him. I think I think he could have approached it better with Sancho.
No, disagree.
But you think Sancho was the issue? Then
I lost 100%. All faith for Sancho when he got dropped for not doing for whatever happened, and then he come online to stream playing FIFA the exact time that United were playing in Europe. So for me, like if a player had been dropped and had a fallout with the manager, and at that exact time a football match was going on, you can do one or two things if you want to go like be present. You can upload a video of you say working out, running in the gym, or you can show how much of a brat you are by, oh look at me, I'm not even bothered by the football game my team's playing in. I'm going to play FIFA like an absolute child.
Maybe that is the issue. You signed the next Man City Academy product then.
Yeah, no.
If you signed the best player essentially at Dortmund and one of the best players in Europe at the time.
Oh,
He
one of
gave-
the biggest
gave him-
talents going, yes.
Oh, I could go on about him, right? He gave him 3 months off. Essentially, firstly, you're right. Schalke signed him. I saw on the podcast that Schalke did with Gary Neville that he signed him and he went on holiday and come back with an ear infection, then came back overweight. So if I'm signing for Man United, I'm not going on holiday. I'm training and ready for this new season. I'm coming to England to prove myself. I'm not going on holiday. So that's first little red flag there. And then, yeah, when he's under Ten Hag, so he gives him 3 months at a personalised training camp to help with his mental health and physical well-being. He comes back into the team, does all right, and then he obviously said that he didn't train well enough, and then he's done a message like that. I don't care if he's taken what he took on many players in that game at the Champions League semi-final. That's one game. I would not get rid of him. Sell him for the most amount of money you get. He's a bad egg.
Yeah, I think I'd agree. So
maybe yeah, I agree. No, I have to agree with you on that. I feel like maybe it's the surroundings of where he is then, because obviously in Germany he probably doesn't know as many people and he's just getting on with his game.
Yeah, no, you're probably onto something there with that. They probably can't. The way that sort of bad attitude probably doesn't translate as well over there, so it goes missing in translation. So he's allowed to probably be a bit more of a baby. This is kind of why I'd stick with Erik ten Hag, because I feel like he's had a bit of a rough time, because for example, Anthony. A transfer he suggested, and when he suggested him, he was valued at 30 million. United approached Ajax and they got the price back at 30 million, but they didn't go ahead and do the deal because they was hoping to get De Jong signed. Chasing De Jong all through the summer, they come back to Ajax a week before the transfer deadline, and Ajax like, yeah, you can have him, but now it's 80 million. So I feel like if Anthony had come to the club as a 30 million player, just between the squad and the first team, I think his journey would have been a lot different, and the way he's received by people would have been a lot different too. But we're short on numbers. He has a massive price tag. It's just it creates more pressure. So that's just an excuse for one of the signings. Malacia, I don't know where he's gone. We need to get Liam Neeson to come and find him.
You know, I actually forgot about him.
I don't know where he is.
Malacia and Luke Shaw, our two left backs, have been taken, and I don't know where they are. But we need them, because we've got Delort. Yeah, a great right back. Delot is an attacking fullback. I personally don't think he's very good at defending, but I like what he offers going forward. And you can build teams around that. You can make sure that the left back stays tight when he goes forward, etc., etc. But to have him then play left back and be able to defend, no wonder why our defence looks absolutely shite. And yeah, like the injuries are ridiculous. I'd like to see Ten Hag be able to clear the team out, keep the ones that are showing promise. They're young, but for me, he needs more time.
Yeah, but you look at the squad.
Out of all the players, out of all the players, I feel bad for Højlund.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Like Garnacho, not a bad piece of talent, just does not supply the ball enough. He holds it on too much, and he's too busy spinning with the ball.
Rashford is in a nightclub in Belfast, wherever he was.
Rashford is probably going to be your next Sancho.
Oh, he should go.
Yeah, he needs to go.
Yeah, get rid of him.
You don't have a player as big as Højlund, a striker like him, and play and have right footers on the left wing and left footers on the right wing, because they're not looking to cross the ball, they're looking to cut in and dribble. It just have players with right foots on right wings, left foots on left wings, once again, Ten Hag's restricted because Rashford doesn't like to play in one place and someone doesn't like to play elsewhere.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Maybe the factor is that Ten Hag has inherited some bad eggs then.
Oh,
100%.
100%. Definitely.
Look at the managers they've got rid of. LVG, Mourinho, Ollie, Ralph. They're about to get rid of Ten Hag as well.
Even Ronaldo, the essentially best player in the world, was a bad egg. You can't walk down the tunnel for your team when the game's still going on. I don't care who you are.
You're not bigger than the club. That's the one rule.
No, you got to get rid of him for that. I don't
It's
know if
like
he
having
had any extra, but yeah.
It's like having a crazy missus. Yeah, she might be smoking hot, but if she keeps slashing your mum's tyres, she's got to go.
I like that terminology actually.
So yeah, we all agreed that Ten Hag needs to stay.
I'd definitely give him another
I'm
season.
not just saying I want him to stay because you're doing not good.
Just say it. Go on.
Because you're doing shit. I actually feel bad. Like I'm the same with with Poch. Like there's circumstances on the reason why Poch has been unlucky.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like everyone deserves like if they're having a poor season, like with Poch, his first season, give him a chance next season, go from there. With Ten Hag, I feel like maybe some of the signings are questionable, but you got to give him. I don't know. It's hard to say because he's been there for more than 2 seasons. I feel
We won
like
the cup last year. We were back-to-back FA Cup finals. We're gonna lose, but you never know.
I hope you lose, so we definitely get guaranteed Europa League. But yeah,
Fight for that Europa. How low have you got to?
We need that for the financial fair play. That's all I care about.
Yeah, I don't understand how you guys have done what you've done. I don't see the spending. Are you doing that thing where you create a sponsor and sponsoring yourself?
Probably.
So that Infinite Athlete has been. I think it's been there was clarity that Todd Bowley and that had no association with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The only questionable one was when a company bought the hotel.
Right. Oh, see.
And Todd Bowley was one of the people that owned the company.
Yeah.
But apparently that was sanctioned, but now it might be getting overturned again.
See, this is what football's come to. There's always like little nuances and that with finances that
loopholes. There's just so many loopholes now.
And we're not talking about right wingers, left wingers. We're talking about sponsorship deals and stuff like that, and it just feels dirty. I don't like it, you know.
But it's taking the game. It's now more. It's becoming a franchise now.
Yeah.
You think about it, like American sports and that. Like look how the Champions League format's changed now to like a playoff
format, yeah.
Like to American football.
Mm.
Is that next season that starts?
Yeah.
By the way, right.
So you're gonna be like, might as well call the Champions League final the super. Yeah, the Super Bowl, I guess. I hate
Super Bowl.
Just yeah. But mind you, yeah, they say American football it's not American football. Real football. That's end of.
Yeah.
Anyway, talking about signings for United, not making any good ones. Signings of the season. I want to hear your top 3 because I can't think of 5. So I'll start with you, Sean. Top 3 signs of the season.
Yeah. Well, I think I've got 3 unconventional ones. Okay.
Okay, that's good.
The first one isn't exactly a signing, but he's a new addition to the team, and that would be Kobe Mainoo for United, who's come through the academy, who's been called up to the first team. I think he's been great. He's someone that apparently was recognised as having a lot of talent. Had an injury last year or start of this year, I believe, during pre-season. But he's just come into the squad and he's been called up to the England team already. He's so young and he shows that he's got a skill set, not necessarily the same sort of skill set as, say, like a Jude Bellingham or someone like that, but he does a lot on the pitch that it's quite rare to find in young players. Normally, you find more seasoned, mature players who play like him. So for me, he's number 3. Number 2, I doubt you've heard of him. He's actually the Arsenal head of the Arsenal medical team and performance team. Zafik Bal. He's a doctor. He was I think he was at Crystal Palace beforehand, Liverpool, Leyton Orient. Now Arsenal are competing against City for the title, and their depth is nowhere near the same depth as City's. They have got quite a low injury turnover compared to other teams. And you have to look at the staff that have been brought in to implement the changes because a few years ago Arsenal were known for having quite a lot of injuries quite often. Last season they were in the lower numbers, and this season once again they're in the lower numbers. So when you're going up against City, who've got players like Nunez on the bench for fun, I think it's important to keep all your key players fit. So he needs to be given some credit. But my number 1 best sign in the season is for Wolves manager Gary O'Neill. He's come in to a team that has had its fair share of bit of manager turnover and turmoil. You got the likes of what was his name, Bruno. I've forgotten his name. He was after Nuno, but he came into the Wolverhampton squad. Apparently the team were quite down. They were playing quite bad football. Then they had Julian Lopetegui come in, and more of a positive sort of style of football was being played. But then he's fallen out with the ownership model. And at the start of this season, talking to a lot of Wolves fans, when Fosun, the management company behind Wolves, signed Gary O'Neill, they thought it was a sign of intent that Fosun were taking a step back from Wolves. Maybe they're getting a manager that was ready to look after them in the Championship. And he has completely changed everyone's mind. He did a Monday Night Football with Carragher and Gary Neville, where he broke down the analysis of his training sessions to prepare for a certain game. He was talking about analysis. He was looking at gaps in play. He is a sign of what English coaching has come. Why he's one of the new breed of English coaches that it can only be a positive thing. And yeah, all right, the way Wolves are finishing this season, they're not in the top 10, but I think they've had a really good season, and I think Gary O'Neill's a big part of that.
No, I think so as well. That's very outside the box thinking there on your 3, but definitely Gary O'Neill.
Obviously, the Wolves owners obviously saw how good he was doing that with Bournemouth, and to be fair, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still don't understand why his time at Bournemouth finished.
Ownership problems, probably.
Because he 25 matches in charge.
Just lost 9-0 to Liverpool when he came in, didn't he?
Yeah, 0.92 points per game. He's had 44 matches at Wolves, and it's 1.34 points per game. Yeah, all right, it's not setting the world on fire, but it's a lot better than some.
Start of seasons go down.
Well, exactly. That's the point I'm making. Like, Gary O'Neill he's a fantastic modern manager.
He probably is easily one of the managers of the season. Then, really.
Yeah, I don't think he's even made the shortlist. For me, I think it's embarrassing because of how well he's done.
Yeah.
So
the second one was I thought you was going to note the Arsenal set piece coach, because they've scored a lot of set pieces this year. But I
definitely would say Arsenal set piece coach is up there.
Yeah, see, Dylan, if you'd give me the running order of this episode a little bit earlier, maybe I would have.
I'll get it out early next week. So you got a week.
Talk to me about their stats. I don't know. Tell me more.
No, I just know that I think Arsenal scored
it's Man City's old set piece coach as well, by the way, just to let you know.
Oh, I don't care about them. Yeah, the Arsenal set piece last year, they had, I think, 1 goal from a set piece or something really small, and this year they're top of the division for set piece goals, and that was due to a new set piece instructor. 18 goals they've scored this year on set pieces.
Have you? Go on, carry on. Sorry.
No, I was just going to see what was there last year, but yeah, go on. While I get the stats up.
Have you seen the Aston Villa set piece coach?
I haven't.
He looks like Shawn Michaels from WWE. Yeah, it's just like you got him and Unai and Emery look like they're a tag team, and I'm all for it because like he's got this long hair. When they score, I remember they scored against United from a set piece, and he's loving life, and you're happy. He's a bit like Rick Wakeman from Status Quo, but I don't think you guys will know who that is.
No.
But he just looks like a happy guy and a character. Football's full of loads of people that are a bit clinical and haven't got any character, so I like to see it.
Fair
Do you
play.
want to tell me some set piece stats of who scored the most this year, Deals?
I can do. Everton were 15 goals in second, obviously Arsenal first in 18.
Yeah.
Villa 12 goals this year on set pieces.
Oh, Villa in first. See, he's obviously
Shawn
doing a good
Michaels.
job.
Good old
Shawn
Shawn Michaels.
Shawn
You
Michaels.
know I'm sexy. Oh, what a
Luton
guy.
were 12 goals as well. And then Newcastle 11, Spurs 10, same as Man City 10, and Wolves 10 as well.
How are United with set pieces?
How are United with set pieces? Probably not very well.
I've just seen the Aston Villa set piece coach, and his name is pretty wrestler-esque. Austin McPhee.
That sounds like a wrestler if I've ever heard one.
Yeah.
2 goals, Sheffield United last. 3 goals for Palace. Burnley 3. Nottingham Forest 4. Brighton 6, which is surprising because they got Duncan Veltman. Same as Bournemouth. Brentford 7. West Ham 7, which is surprising with James Ward-Prowse signing at the start of the season.
Surprising, yeah.
United 7 and 12.
Yeah, so I think it's a good thing. It goes to show that set pieces are still part of the game. You can't pass the ball in the back of the net all the time. Sometimes you just need a big bloke to edit in.
Yep. So, George, your top 3, mate?
You know what? I'm going to say in third place, I'm going to say, I actually hate to say this, but I'm going to say Mickey van der Ven.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that he is, he's kind of upgraded. I'll say he's helped Tottenham's defence massively by being that unique sweeper defender.
Yeah.
Because Romero loves to rush into a challenge. We all know that. But I just find him unbelievable. Like, I'm a bit worried if England had to play Holland and you've got Van der Ven and Van Dijk as the back pairing.
Yeah, that's the right. Oh, can you do the Thunder and Lightning where I am? That is the right pair.
So I'm definitely going to say Van der Ven's one. It's definitely third. It would have been close between Van der Ven and Vicario, Tottenham's goalkeeper. I actually like him as well.
Ah, interesting.
I hate to, it's just don't. I actually said Tottenham players as well. Ugh.
You talk about Tottenham like you're an Arsenal fan, but you're a Chelsea fan, right?
Yeah. Oh, you don't know how much Chelsea and Tottenham hate each other.
Yeah, well, I just assumed Chelsea hated everyone.
Oh, we do pretty much hate everyone, but we have a special hate towards Tottenham.
Oh, so I didn't know this. This is interesting.
I get confused with this because Chelsea's main rivals, you say, are Spurs, right? But then Spurs would say Arsenal.
Yeah.
And if you ask QPR...
but you know what? If you ask a few other Spurs fans, though, they will say Chelsea. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, that is surprising.
Because, why do I am definitely one of these proud fans to say this. I'm definitely a Chelsea fan that's in the stands sometimes when I go to a game saying Tottenham get battered everywhere we go, or I will always stand up if someone goes stand up if you hate Tottenham.
Or your put out sign, isn't it?
Hey, I'm still in Pottery trust, mate. Trust the process still. That's it.
Okay.
So do you dislike do you dislike Tottenham more than you say dislike Fulham, QPR, and Millwall?
Fulham are just our like little B team, mate. To me.
Ooh.
I don't like. Don't get me wrong. Fulham ain't a bad team, but I can't take them seriously if they're flying kites at training. Can I?
No, yeah.
So Yeah, honestly, like if there's only another team that I hate. Like I might have to say this now. I probably hate Tottenham because my old man hates Tottenham from like the 70s and 80s. Definitely, I've probably been influenced like that.
That's football for you. We're all just
But
trying to
then-
get our dad's approval.
Well, for me, during my upbringing, I should hate Man U really because of the rivalry Chelsea and Man U had.
Yeah. See, with
But
Arsenal, the amount of times like with United and Arsenal, the rivalry they had, I kind of respect them more than a lot of other teams.
Yeah, because they're always there. They got some history behind them. Not like funded by some Russian oil guy or some Abu Dhabi money.
it is what it is for you boys. But
Hey, we're off track. What's your
Yeah, sorry.
silence?
That's my fault.
So third was Van der Ven, closely followed by Vicario.
Gotcha.
Second, you know what? Second, Gavardio.
Yeah.
Alpha City.
Good choices.
Yeah. Very,
Yeah.
very solid. Again, I'm going with I would always choose a defender over a lot of players. As I say, the best form of attack is defense, really, because you're not going to concede a goal. You can win. I like Gavardio. I even liked his mentality yesterday when he was on for a hat trick, but he said Kyle Walker was trying to make him take the pen, and he said no. And that just shows you the maturity of him as well as a professional. That he was like, no, Julian Alvarez is the taker. He takes it.
Yeah, I think for a player to say no to a penalty is bigger than sometimes a player to say yes to one.
And he was on for he would have
For a
been
hat-trick,
the
wouldn't he?
first defender, well, first centre back to ever get a hat trick in the Prem.
Mm-hmm.
But he plays left back.
He does, but he is dominantly a centre back.
I was surprised no one was really in for him. It was just really City. I mean, I don't know anyone
City
else,
went
but
in early though, didn't they? They went in
Right.
early and with the money, like I think it was like what over 60 mil.
was it? No, it was 60.
He's one of these players that always feels like there's some really obvious signings that should be made, and football
Yeah.
fans can see the signings that need to be made, and it's like those signings don't get made until last minute by someone. Liverpool tend to do it with a lot of players. Like they'll just get someone somehow, and it's like, oh, surely everyone was looking at him. Why wasn't someone else trying to get? Do you know what I mean? Does that sound a bit
Yeah,
too
well,
vague?
They
I
do
feel
it
like
like
Man
beforehand,
United
don't
do
they?
that a lot. Man United always go for players, but a lot of the time, United just won't want to pay the money that they do. And sometimes they do pay the money, and I'm thinking, what the hell are you paying at? Like,
Yeah.
like you said with Anti, it was because there was a week left. That's why he was worth that much, because of the hassle of them having to replace him.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I'm definitely going to just say Gavardio was one under the radar for a lot of teams. I know that we were looking at buying him, but we didn't in the end.
Bloody hell.
Chelsea after everyone, weren't they, in the summer? So
we
it's not really surprising.
we had a £1 billion budget, so we were in for probably 99.9% of the players on the market. But
So
again,
like one stage, Liverpool after a player like Lavia, Chelsea come in and get him. Salcedo, Chelsea come in and get him.
you know what? I might have to refrain Van der Ven, say Gavardio's third, and actually change it. I just thought of a player, and I can't believe I only just remembered who I'm thinking about.
Oh, yeah, I know you're going to say. Go on.
But who do you think I'm going to say?
Cole Palmer.
No. For second,
Oh, really?
like I'll put Gavardio third.
Go on then. Who are you going to say?
Second, I'm saying Declan Rice.
Oh, yeah, great shout.
He was my number one.
I feel like he's definitely one of the players that's actually covered depth. Like he was an absolute brilliant replacement for Xhaka. In hindsight, I feel like Xhaka was a big player for Arsenal, but Rice has just came into that and perfect for the system.
Yeah, he's like another lad that was obviously available in the summer, and it felt like it was just one way, like no one else was looking at him. Even with Enioluco saying that maybe other clubs should be phoned up to put bids in. Why didn't United follow Enioluco's?
You know what? I thought I don't know why we didn't go for him because we had him before, and that's what annoys me is that we had him before. He could have came back to us.
Yeah, Chelsea
think
have had
'cause
some
you
great
just-
players come out of their academy. Like
Look,
likes of Haag,
we're not gonna go there. I hate to talk about like. To be fair, we've had a lot of players that have gone out of our hands, and they've turned out into being well beaters like Salah and De Bruyne. But
Imagine having that middle now of Mount, Rice, and Harvey Elliott all for free.
Oh, then they had Harvey Elliott.
we never
Yeah.
had Hart Elliott.
They did. He was at Chelsea, and then they got dropped for being too small, and then he ended up at Fulham.
Well, I'll be honest. I wouldn't be proud of having Harvey Elliott. I don't think he's exactly good enough. Like for Liverpool could do better.
Really?
I think that. I feel.
Is that
I
because you ain't
think.
got him?
No. Like I'm glad that we got rid of Mason Mount now after this fortunate replacement we got from him. But yeah, no. Rice is definitely second, and then I'm gonna just say Cole Palmer's first for the amount of money that we spent on him, and look what he's done.
I would have 3 Cole Palmer. Oh no,
Yeah.
no, 2 Cole Palmer. I go actually.
Yeah.
3 Van der Ven. Yeah, 3 Van der Ven, 2 Cole Palmer. I would put him 1, but he scored 12 penalties. So yeah, penalty
Still got to put it in
merchant.
the back of their net though.
I know you got to put him in the back of net, but still 12. And was it 20 he scored?
Yeah, but his progressive
20...
passing's fucking great too.
He's got a lot of assists as well.
Yeah,
Like, some
that's
great
right.
stats.
He's not just a goal scorer; it's his
No.
midfield plays fantastic.
Some of the balls he puts through is like a locksmith, just unlocks it for us.
Just the way he's like coming to the team as well. Like you probably didn't expect him to take
his
the team on his
mentality.
back.
I love his mentality as well.
He's like a fast Fabregas.
You know what? I could agree with you. He reminds me of Di Maria a bit though, with the way how he moves about.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't think Di Maria, and with his size, he was quite a bit bigger.
Yeah. Every time you say his name, it's like hearing an ex's name. It hurts.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that game?
Do you know
he
he's-
came on and like
is he
kept
doing well?
hitting crosses at United?
Is he doing well? Does he ever mention us?
Number 1 for me, Declan Rice.
Yeah, great shout.
Never
Yeah.
injured. Run the show the whole year in the Arsenal field.
He's
Chipped in with goals and assists.
But has he done enough to get in?
Actually, I've got a question for you two then. Who's had a better season, Rodri or Declan Rice?
Declan Rice.
Declan Rice.
I disagree.
I don't even know the stat. I can't see the stats, but I'd say Declan Rice.
You can't. I feel like Rodri is so important to City that there's a reason why he has not lost 70 games in a row.
Yeah, but the type of possession they have.
Who
I know he's got a
replaces
sit now.
Rodri when he doesn't play?
It's Kovacic,
Right.
I believe.
So
Yeah.
do you reckon he's
Kovacic
more
could
important
do
to
one.
City than Rice is important to Arsenal?
I think Rodri's more important to City. Like Kovacic has already set his grounds by being a second fiddle player anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Rodri is basically the new Sergio Busquets if you've got to think about it.
If you could have either one at Chelsea, who would you have?
I'll take Rodri.
Over Rice?
Yeah.
But I don't see Rodri sitting in your team and getting that sort of performance.
You might be right. Is that our style football? Rice would suit him 10 times better, 100%. But I highly rate Rodri. But like I said, if I had to say player of the season, it depends on who wins the league as well.
Yeah.
For me, that's the final verdict. But Rodri is
If City win the league, then what player would you pick for player of the season? Foden.
No, I'll say Rodri.
Rodri. But he's not in
But
the.
who do you think? Who do you think here who's been who would you say is player of the season then?
Cole Palmer.
For me, I player of the season, I would probably say Foden, and the reason why is you look at how long De Bruyne was injured for, And Foden, who was playing a bit more as a wide player, he sort of excelled, took on loads of responsibility, and sort of was an outlet for the City team when they were missing arguably the best midfielder in the world. So I'd say Foden.
I'll say Cole Palmer personally, regardless of who wins the title. The way he came into the Chelsea team, everyone thought he'd be a bit part player, maybe start a few games, and he's just basically took the team on his back and got that many goals and assists. Yeah, some were penalties, as I mentioned earlier, but yeah, as you said, still got to finish them.
The mentality to take a pen, even when you had two other players fighting him for a pen.
I personally think he should have gave that one away, but that's a...
Nah, my opinion on that is, again...
It shows his ruthless side, doesn't it?
Well, you know what? It shows his ruthless side, and that's what we need in the team.
Yeah, let's not give him too much credit. I did see a video the other day where he didn't know what PM meant. Maybe he wasn't aware of what was going.
No. Again, you might. It doesn't matter because you've got players that ain't exactly gonna be. I think he's just so intelligent on the pitch anyway as a footballer.
Yeah, off it then.
So I don't really care. I don't really care about the intelligence off the. Like Jack Grealish is a phenomenal player on the ball, but he ain't exactly bright, is he now?
You're just going against his accent. That's all it is.
All
the Brummies out there.
Yeah. I just love the fact that this England generation is phenomenal, but I feel like we're going to be held back by a certain manager. So
yeah,
well, that's a story for another time.
I was going to say we have to discuss how do you think we're going to lose the Euros.
Did you have a thingy, Sean? Who was in the wrong?
Who was in the wrong? Well, is that the only thing that come to mind was the Man City Noel Gallagher. How do you pronounce it? The Poznan?
Poznan, yeah.
Yeah, the dancing, and he was too cool to join in.
It's Noel Gallagher. He does what he wants.
No, I think Noel Gallagher's holding on to this. He wants to embrace this whole old image of City and being a traditional fan, etc. But that whole old way of being a City fan never got him anywhere. Like, it was these Spanish footballers that come in, this like star that's been developed by these foreign managers, that's started to win City trophies. So if the fans want to embrace it and do like the Poznan dance wherever it come from, where was it? Which club? I remember playing against Sociedad, Real Sociedad, watching United play against Sociedad and their fans.
Yeah, they started doing it, didn't they?
Yeah, so
I think the Poznan was. I don't know where it is. Look, I know that Poznan's basically when you've won something. I know that because I did it when we beat Tottenham 5-1 in Wembley, the semi-final.
Did you join in?
It's from a Polish club called Lech Poznan.
Yeah,
okay, but
so it must have came from them fans.
Yeah.
Did you join in when you did it?
Absolutely, we were winning 5-1.
Noel Gallagher is he's a classic. I don't know if he's quite a boomer. I don't know which year he was born. He's a classic miserable old git. And
yeah, but
I never thought I'd say this as someone who plays guitar, but as the older they've got, Liam, the one who isn't traditionally as gifted with a musical instrument, is so much more authentic and cool these days compared to his brother Noel. And that's my case, and I'm sticking by it.
Well, my case would be that I respect that Noel Gallagher said refused to do it because it's not over yet. You still got someone breathing down your neck. You want to not just think, I'm going to celebrate now, and then make you look like a right mug at the end of it.
No, but you can't start. Oh, lads, don't cheer too much. It's not over yet. That animosity, that anxiety is just going to feed onto the pitch. Look at United fans whenever another team comes close to our box.
Yeah, but he's not telling no one to stop, though, is he? But he's just playing it cool.
Oh no! For me, embrace it. Like City, they've come from the ashes. That old club has died. They've come back in this new entity. If the fans want to do that,
Abu Dhabi money.
Listen, no, forget all that. The City fans, we often give them stick because they're not filling their stadium every week. Let them have something. No. Like, let them have some sort of character or attitude. Like, let them some sort of personality. Noel Gallagher is one of these people who's just, not back in my day. No, not having it.
We'll leave it at that then. Cheers for coming on, boys.
Cheers.
Sorry. And everything I just said I don't agree with.